生来到我们现场，跟我们分享他的创业心路历程和故事。那马先生好。
你好。
对，那首先第一个问题想要请教马先生，为什么会想要创业？那你的起心动念是什么
？And what's your motivations or challenge you when starting a business?
Actually, the motivation for simply is that I always enjoyed myself running my own business. Of course, I was as an employee for a long time, but my philosophy for running the business is, first of all, it must make some difference. And I also believe it must be true thing. And if thinking about the basic things like food, I don't think you can mess around. You need to be very honest with the people. And if you say something or provide something, you have to be reliable and you have to be trustworthy, and you need to do what you tell. So running the business and philosophy is simply like that, offering something that makes difference.
主要是想要在台湾创业的起心动念是说，想要跟别人不一样，想要就是提供一个跟以往不同的一个饮食风潮，对，然后在台湾推广一下燕麦是一个非常健康的食物，对，然后想要让因为像食物的话，它是比较专长的一个比较特别，我们会比较重视的地方，就是在于它必须是要真材实料，所以在这方面我们会非常的仔细，然后也很注重这样的一个。
了解。那在马先生这个就是特别注重这一块的情况下，那公司你们就是马瑞丽烘焙坊比较主要的一个特色，以及就是你们主要会推出的产品项目是比较偏向哪一个方向？
Could you just tell them about our specialty and our product?
We are focused on very special product that Taiwan didn't have before, and that's whole grain oat flour, what we use for the oat bread. And there are several reasons. First of all, oat is truly healthy and it also tasty. The third thing is that Taiwan doesn't have that kind of a bread, didn't have before. So our specialties actually has oat bread. We have different flavors, we have different shapings, weights. But first of all, I wanted to produce something that is easy to accept for Taiwanese consumers. And the thing is that makes us unique, that we use more whole grain oat flour than wheat. And oat is actually the healthiest cereal. Unfortunately, and that's the reason why Taiwan didn't have this kind of a bread before, it's very tricky fellow. It is tasty, it is healthy, but for baking it's very difficult. 一点麻烦. And it requires different technique to bake oat bread. So yeah, our products is very special. Nothing that you can find in Taiwan. But it's tasty and people like it, so I believe that in the future we will have more and more oat bread also in Taiwan.
我们主要的特色就是在于我们用的是全谷物燕麦，然后大家也知道燕麦是很健康的，那我们希望能够创造一个与众不同的产品，让大家可以接受。那当然，以燕麦来说，要做一个燕麦面包，它的技术是非常复杂的，所以我们也一直不断的尝试，也在学习怎么样能够把燕麦做得好吃，让大家都可以接受。
But oat is also actually when you know how to do, you can do some cakes and desserts. And I'm not talking about the cookies or mueslis, which are actually quite easy, but you can also do some cinnamon buns, you can do some cakes with whole grain oat flour. Of course, usually desserts have more butter and a little bit sugar, things like that, but still you can use also oat. It's a little bit different, flavor is different and structure is different, but compared to regular white wheat flour, I presume that our cakes are still a little bit more healthier than regular desserts.
那我们的用燕麦做成的产品不仅仅是只有面包，我们还可以把燕麦做成蛋糕，然后做成像这样的谷片或是饼干，然后它让燕麦是比多元化的，让大家可以逐渐去以燕麦这样的饮食方式去强调说燕麦的健康，然后对我们身体的好处。
就是透过这些产品，可以让更多人去知道说燕麦这个东西对于健康来说是好的。然后你们也希望说，透过更加多元的一个项目，让更多人去接触到，然后是会愿意尝试跟喜欢。了解。那这样子，在这个创业的过程中，因为刚刚有提到说，就是做这个其实并不是很简单的一件事。那除了这个之外，有没有其他的挑战跟困难是在创业过程中比较印象深刻的？
Have you encountered any challenges during this period to running a business?
I would say that still business in Taiwan, or compared to my previous experience in Finland, business as usual. But you never know what's going to happen. So whenever I wake up, I might consider, oh, we did that, why we didn't this. And in the end of the day, you find out, okay, the day was completely different what you presume in the morning. So that happens all the time. So what we have had some challenges for sure. For example, coronavirus all of a suddenly, or some people want to resign. Of course, that happens. But then you just try to figure out, okay, this is the thing, now we need to change a little bit. Actually, business is not, compared to Finland or in Germany or in Taiwan, a little bit different, but basically it's still the same. So most of the challenges actually are not related to business, but for the Mandarin, the language. And compared to when I went to mid-90s, I went to Germany. I had just very basic German skills. After 2 years, I mean, in the very beginning, they realized immediately that I'm foreigner. But after 2 years, they were surprised that I am a foreigner. But in Taiwan, oh my God, I mean, still like 5 years and I hardly speak any. So that's the challenge that I'm facing almost every day. But still, I find it's easy to communicate with people. And I think it's not about the grammar or pronunciation. It's about the willingness of understanding. And that's about the communication. So, business is as usual, no big differences. Days are completely different, but hey, the next day would be better. So, but the challenge is the language, and actually the Chinese language is very interesting. I mean, it's like small stories behind the characters. Pronunciation is like a music. And the characters, calligraphy, are a piece of art. And the simplicity of Chinese grammar. Actually, first time when I started to study Chinese, I thought there's no grammar, but there is, and very simple. But the simplicity is the challenge. So that is something that I try to overcome every day. Still is challenging.
马先生的确在创业的过程中有遇到一些挑战，但他觉得那都不是太大的一个问题，因为他都其实这些都跟在芬兰他曾经创业过的一些经验差不多，虽然还是有不同的地方，可是他觉得这些他都可以克服。那最大的挑战其实他是认为说台湾的中文这件事情，学中文这件事对他来讲是一个极大的挑战。他当然他觉得中文是很有趣的，他也很想要学习讲更多的中文，但是他觉得还是对他来讲是有困难度的。对啊，
了解。那这样子就是在刚刚马先生有提到说，其实所有的挑战跟困难对你来说都是好像是一个学习的过程，然后是一个快乐的事情。对，那所以就是在这个过程中遇到的挑战，都觉得是没关系的，每天就是明天就会更好这样子。了解。那这样子在就是这个马瑞丽烘焙坊，就是您会希望带给消费者是一个什么样的一个品牌印象？然后你想要传递的价值是什么
？What would you like to tell our audience that what's our company's philosophy, and also what do you want to promote to our audience to tell them our story, what it is?
Even though we are just a bakery, but what I believe, and I hope that when we are becoming bigger, we can say what we believe is just like a well-being is not just any particular food. Of course, it's healthy food, healthy, good diet, but it can be also tasty, but it's also a lifestyle, and that is what we try to promote more and more, to emphasize the whole holistic idea of well-being. Of course, Maruli is Finnish, origin from Finland. I want to promote the best features of Finnish culture, and if talking about food, there are a lot of oat-based foods from Finland. We could also promote in Taiwan. But actually, the simple thing is that we want to help people to live a little bit easier, happier, and longer. But you need to pay attention of your diet and lifestyle, and that is what we are heading more and more.
当然，马先生觉得说健康不只是说单纯的选择食物上要挑选健康的饮食方式，还有包括我们的生活模式，整个心态都要健康。然后再加上马先生是芬兰人，所以他想要传达一个他们芬兰文化是非常重视饮食健康，然后还有他们的生活跟他们跟朋友相处这样子的一个互助的一个形态，所以他也想要推广说燕麦是一个健康的食物，让大家都可以知道。然后他希望呢，人们可以借由我们这样的一个一间公司，可以吃到健康的东西，然后更快乐，然后更专注于去追求一个良好的一个生活形态。
感觉这是一个很棒的一个理念，对，那我觉得这真的是会造福很多的消费者，对。那有没有接下来就是3到5年的具体计划是就是有想要执行的，或者是说最终您会希望在马瑞丽烘焙坊做到什么样的一个程度
？What do you plan in 5 years, and what's your goal? What your goal is?
My idea for the next 4 or 5 years is naturally that we still exist and we're becoming more bigger company, but also a brand that is well known of its specialities and unique concept, which is actually, like I said, more about the well-being, or not just diet, but or not just oat. But I believe that there is a room for this kind of a small concept to become a bigger. And personally, I'm planning to make Maruli even an international brand, which might take the next not 5 years, but more like 6, 7, 8 years from now on. And that's my goal, because I know that the people in Asia, generally speaking, know that oat is healthy, but there are some products that they don't have yet. And we have the capability and know how to do that, and I think that oat is real thing. And that's one reason that I know that oat is real thing. And it's tasty, and it's healthy. So those kind of things I believe makes difference, and that's what we are looking for.
当然我们马先生是希望说能够在未来我们的知名度可以慢慢的逐渐的打开，让大家不仅仅是让大家知道这样的一个燕麦的饮食方式，还是主要是整个就像刚刚马先生说的，是整个一个健康的概念。然后他也希望说，也许在未来的6到7年之后，我们可能可以是一个国际化的公司，因为马先生是有很大的梦想，是希望能够传达他这样的一个理念，让所有的消费者能够支持他、认同他。对。
所以你们称之为燕麦革命。
是。
真的，对。
那最后一个问题，想要请马先生分享，就是如果有朋友想要创业，那想要走跟您相同产业的话，你会给他一个什么样的建议？
If you have any friends from this industry, baking industry, would you have any suggestion to them?
Actually, first of all, what I realized when I came to Taiwan and I was benchmarking the industry and bakeries, I find that there are a lot of good, very skillful young bakers in Taiwan. And there are several bakers that have won international competitions, and that is highly appreciated. I mean, the Taiwanese skill and handicraft is very good. Honestly, I was surprised. I mean, I didn't know that, but once I saw that, and I know the mindset of bakers, many bakers, that they really emphasize the details, is something that I really appreciate. But for the most of the local bakers, I would say that try to modernize your products or concept. I mean, all those stuff that most of the bakeries are providing actually doesn't make any difference compared to the other bakers. And the second thing is, don't think that the next baker, the small bakers in your neighborhood, is your competitor. No, it's not. Actually, it's those big companies, those industrial sized bakeries that producing having a mass production. You need to compete with your skillful, your handicraft, and specialized something that others don't do that. Big companies, they can go down with the price. They usually go down with the quality as well. So those things that keep your quality high, specialized, I think that's the way to compete. But don't think about the other bakers, the small bakers, is your worst nightmare. I don't think so. It's the big companies that will set the low quality, low price. But you cannot compete with that. You need to upscale your quality.
马先生起初他并 并没有发现到，其实台湾有很多非常专业的烘焙师，对，然后他觉得他们也很认真、很努力的在研发或创新新的烘焙食品，然后他给这些年轻的创业家，就是如果他们要进入这个烘焙业的新手的建议，就是不要认为其他人都是你的竞争对手，对，你要不断的去学习，然后不断的去加强你的技术，把它变成是你的一个独特性，对，然后要不断的发展，就是去研发出一些品质很好的产品给大家，
不断的去提升自己的品质，
对，
这个才是可能在成功的路上就是必须要去一直不断学习的。了解，那这样子就是今天真的非常开心可以邀请到就是马先生来到我们现场。那其实我相信就是在这个马瑞丽烘焙坊做的这些东西，就是可以给予台湾人，甚至是就是到刚刚有提到亚洲的话，能够让大家就是在健康方面可以就是有更好的选择，然后也真的可以去传递到你们的理念，让大家生活的形态可以去变得更健康更好。谢谢。
Thank you.